Batista's back.
Alright guys, Tom here and welcome to a new video, and today I'm doing my review of WWE Batista, The Animal Unleashed, and I want to tell you, is it worth buying this DVD WWE released last week? And in my honest opinion, maybe. Now, I had 45 minutes to spare. The documentary is very short. The documentary is only 45 minutes. Now, if you're going to splash the cash, £20 for the DVD and £23 RRP for the Blu-ray, do you really want to pay that much for a 45-minute documentary? Now, the cover art is cool. It's gonna look really cool in your collection. It's awesome. It's got some nice orange and yellow text down the side saying Batista. It's got a cool picture of Batista with shades on, and it has kind of like a tint in there which reflects a kind of arena from WWE. The cover art is cool, but are you really wanting to pay £20 for this DVD, which is just so short? It only contains a 45-minute documentary. Now, it is 3 discs. It does contain hours and hours of Batista matches, but honestly, if you're a fan like me who's been watching for around 10 years, you probably ended up watching a majority of these matches already. So are you really going to pay £20 to watch all these matches again? And honestly, Batista, in my opinion, I've never been a big fan of his in-ring work. So do I want to splash the cash to buy a DVD which contains a majority of matches I really don't want to see? And when I buy WWE DVDs, like the Brock Lesnar DVD and the CM Punk DVD, there's only a selection of matches I really want to watch, and I honestly just buy the DVD for the documentary rather than the matches. And the documentary on here was a bit of a disappointment. So if you're going to buy this DVD and you buy DVDs for the documentary, be prepared to be disappointed. But also, I would recommend watching it to get a different side of a WWE documentary, because documentaries I've watched in the past, like the Trish Stratus documentary or the Randy Orton documentary, really get in the mind of the superstar. You really feel like you're part of them for the entirety of the actual DVD. You get really personal with them. But on this DVD, even though they broke kayfabe and it really felt like you were inside the minds of the professional wrestling, it was really a reality of professional wrestling, you never really got in the mind of Batista. And I do like that about the WWE documentaries, that even though they play this persona on screen of this person that they're not really, on this DVD, it really did not deliver. Even though you were with the real Batista, it just still felt like stuff was a bit hidden. And the fact that you watch WWE to see these made-up characters, when you watch a documentary, you want to see the legit person. You really want to get personal with that person and learn really who they are. But you honestly did not get this on this DVD. And it was a different take on a WWE documentary, because it was all about how he was preparing to return and what he was going to do after that return at the Royal Rumble. But honestly, the recording of this documentary was only really done in about a month. I think the first date we saw was around the 10th of January 2014, and the last date was about the 10th of February 2014. So the fact that they've mustered a 45-minute documentary from only a month of recording is quite clever, but honestly, it really does not contain a lot on that documentary, and a lot of the actual documentary isn't about the return of him, the return of Batista. A lot of it was stuff to make up that 45 minutes. Now, a lot of it was just added in there. Now, I really like the part where he was going to Pittsburgh, preparing for that Rumble match on the morning, and driving there and getting into in the arena, putting his boots on. I really like that side of the documentary. It was something different that we haven't seen on a documentary before. It was quite unique how he talked about his nerves going in, how he really didn't feel like he was prepared towards the match, and it was quite an insight into a mind of a professional wrestler. But a lot of the documentary had parts that were added in which just didn't feel like they should have been there. Now, it did contain stuff that he'd been doing whilst he'd been away, like jiu-jitsu and stuff, but there was a lot in there which were just added in there. And like 1 minute you were preparing for Pittsburgh at the Royal Rumble, and then you'd just gone to a part about him learning jiu-jitsu, and then they'd go back to 6 days later, where he'd be going to the Raw, where he was preparing for his return at Monday Night Raw. So if we start off, we've gone from the Rumble to 6 days earlier. So you've swapped there, and then the next minute he's talking cars, and then the next minute he's talking about getting the job for Guardians of the Galaxy. Then he's meeting up with Rey Mysterio and Ric Flair back at the date of the Royal Rumble. Everything was just a bit... It didn't feel linear. You were just swapping from place to place. And it was cool to get an insight of what his hobbies were and about the cars and stuff. But I wasn't really too bothered about that. I really enjoyed the part where he was talking about how he was feeling about returning and stuff like that. I just wasn't really a fan of the stuff about jiu-jitsu and stuff like that. I really was just interested in him actually coming back and actually being there. So I enjoyed the part where he was in the arena preparing for the Rumble match and stuff like that. The stuff which was just added in about his cars and stuff like that, I didn't really like about that. But there was a few bits in there which were quite funny, like when his shorts didn't fit at the Royal Rumble and his zipper broke. It kind of felt a bit fake. I mean, would he really put on his shorts and boots on 10 minutes before coming out to the Rumble match? And would they really patch them together 10 minutes before the match? That bit was a bit not very legitimate and was obviously added in there to add a bit of drama to the DVD. Also, there was cool bits in there when he was meeting guys like his old buddy Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Rey Mysterio. They were quite cool parts, but the most interesting thing I liked about it was when he was talking about how things have changed around here. And how he left because he didn't like that the direction of the company had changed to a PG era. And that we all know that's why Batista left. And now he's come back. I'm starting to think, have things actually changed for him to... He must have come back because he feels something's changed in the company. And I liked how when he come back, he was shaking hands with guys that he'd never met before. It really showed how the company has changed. And it was a majority of people he met in this DVD at the arenas he'd never met before. And it was cool to see that change on this DVD and how he felt it had changed as a company as a whole. But you had the guys like Carly in there that obviously changed. But it was interesting to feel how the social media ambassadors and people behind the scenes had changed and what he thought about that. And I really, really liked that part of the DVD, that you felt like he was expressing his opinion on what had changed since he had come back. And I thought that was very, very unique and cool about the DVD. But my huge disappointment about this DVD was that it only spanned for about a month. Yes, he'd come back at the Royal Rumble, but I would have liked to see his road to WrestleMania as well. We didn't get that. We only kind of cut off. We didn't really have an end. He kind of won the Rumble match and then it ended, but that really wasn't the end. That was the beginning, wasn't it? That was the beginning to his road to WrestleMania, but it just ended after he won at the Rumble. What about the Elimination Chamber match? What about the actual WrestleMania match and the road to get there? What about the Monday Night Raws and SmackDowns and heel turn he did? Everything like that wasn't on there. It ended at the Royal Rumble, which was just a huge disappointment. I wanted to see his road to WrestleMania and how he prepared for that match. But we didn't get that, and it felt like it didn't really end. It didn't really have an end to the DVD, because in my opinion, his return had just started. Now, I know they have to give themselves time to edit it and distribute it, advertise it, everything like that. But ending it in January just felt a little bit outdated. Could they have maybe added a bit into WrestleMania? I would have really loved to have seen them talking or having the insight of Batista's opinion on how maybe WrestleMania's changed since he left in 2008, or his nerves going into that WrestleMania match. Watching how Daniel Bryan did in his first match and preparing for the triple threat match and everything like that. That would have been cool. Or him talking about why he had to heel turn, or his reception at Elimination Chamber against Alberto Del Rio. They were the most interesting parts about the return of Batista. but we didn't get that. It ended in January, and I thought it could have given a lot more. Now, I'm not going to watch any more of the DVD. I will certainly not be watching probably any of the matches on the DVD. I will probably maybe watch the documentary again. It was interesting in parts when he was talking about the Rumble and stuff like that. But honestly, it might not be a documentary I will return to anytime soon. In my opinion, they could have done a lot more with this DVD. And honestly, I think they really tried their best to make it 45 minutes. I mean, they added bits in there just so they could make it 45 minutes. And even 45 minutes isn't a long documentary for WWE. So in my opinion, yes, I would go and say watch it if you can online. Buying it for £20 does feel like a big rip-off in my honest opinion. If you aren't a fan of Batista's in-ring work, which a lot of people really aren't. But if you're going to splash the cash on £20, all respect to you, I just wouldn't maybe pay more than £5 for this DVD. The documentary was okay. The matches really won't be that good on the DVD. But honestly, they really could have done a lot more with this DVD. But honestly, the main reason WWE is releasing this DVD, and maybe why it isn't up to scratch, is because Guardians of the Galaxy, which was discussed in this DVD, is coming out on the 1st of August 2014. And bringing this DVD out when that movie comes out is a really, really good business standpoint, because they can release it, and then when fans are Googling Batista from the movie, they'll see, oh, WWE's released a DVD about Batista only a month ago. And they can also use that to promote the movie as well. So maybe that'll hopefully bring a lot of people to buy this DVD and also buy Guardians of the Galaxy and watch it. So really, did they really need to make it a brilliant DVD? Not really. It's all about making that money for WWE at the end of the day. But if you're going to watch it, have fun. But honestly, it's not the best WWE DVD you'll see. One of the worst I've ever watched. Thanks for watching. Take care. Spike your hair.